Hey everybody, remember this channel has been shadow banned by YouTube for quite some time. So if you want to keep up with my hijinks or you just don't want to miss out on a chance to call me a slur when I say something stupid, make sure you subscribe to my channel and go over to my channel page and turn on notifications. There's a link in the upper corner of this video where you can do just that. I am a grown-ass man. Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of the America Guns and Freedom podcast, where we talk about everything America, guns, and freedom related. And it's just an open chat, so you can ask whatever question you want. Ask me anything you want to ask me. Like I said, it doesn't have to be about guns. It can also be about America or freedom or anything really. So ask whatever you want to ask. I'll do my best to answer it. If you ask me a technical question and I don't know the answer, make sure you pay attention to the live chat, because there's people in there that will know more about that topic than I do, and they can answer your question for you. So pay attention, and don't just pay attention, also participate, build a sense of community over there. 120 to 150 people over there you can talk to, get to know, have a place where you come every day, talk with like-minded people about common interests. That's why we do this every day. Now, I like to start each chat with thanking people for going over and buying merch, like the Revolutionary Mickey here, or Revolutionary Willie, I call this, because that's really the Steamboat Willie Mickey, which we do have a patch of now, and it should be available for sale any day now over on Owl and Anchor. I'll let you all know when they are. There's a very limited number of them. But let's see here. Where am I at? Oh, yes, the one person who ordered merchandise today. We had Tom Blazak. Blacksack. I don't know how you say that last name. But he ordered We Used to Shoot Nazis t-shirt and a sticker. We used to shoot Nazi and a magnet, a die-cut magnet. So thanks for that order. And if you want to order merchandise, you can go over and get stuff like this, or in this country, we used to shoot Nazis, and all kinds of other stuff you see me wear on my channel. You can go over to my website, tympistolproject.com, tympistolproject.com. Over there, you can find a link to go to my Shopify page, buy merchandise, support TYMP. You can use the link over there to join Patreon. And right now, people who join Patreon, you're pretty much going to win a knife, because every day we take the people who've joined in the past 24 hours from 3 o'clock to 3 o'clock, and we choose one. They win a new cold steel knife, $200 knife for signing up as a member. So that's happening. So feel free to go over and join Patreon, possibly win a knife. If you want to support Patreon, if you want to support Pets and Vets or TYMPPP, but you don't want to use Patreon, you want to use something you consider more gun friendly, well, use Subscribestar. You can become a member over there. You can support TYMPPP or Pets and Vets. You support Pets and Vets on Subscribestar by joining the Fur Friends Defender tier. If you get to be one of the Fur Friends Defenders, you get a special patch. You get a special series of patches, actually, starting with the Corporal patch, which I'm trying to send to people if they give me their addresses. I've had like 5 people so far give me their address. The next one will be the Sergeant, then the Captain, and then a special turnip patch. So go on over there, join up on that tier if you want to get the special patches and support Pets and Vets. If you want to join on Patreon and you want to get a patch, well, we give out our regular deputy patches for people who become members over there, deputy and posse patches. And we also have a tier where you can get the Mickey Mouse Mouse Guns patch right here. This one right here is a good one for you. So this one is a very limited patch too. I only had like 25 of these made, and I gave away one. So, I kept one. I gave away one. So feel free to go over and join the Mouse Guns tier, support the Pets and Vets program, and get yourself a very limited and cool patch. Turned out very nice. I'm very happy with it. All right, let's get to the questions. I had one come in over here on over here. Let's do this one. This is Trailers Looking for Full Trailers. He was weighing in on today's shooting the shit topic, and he said the 2A will actually fall because of 2A absolutionists, unless the moderates who believe in gun control plus the right to bear arms, CCW saves the day. And what did he said. The 2A will actually fall because of 2A absolutists. I can see where someone would make that argument. Unless the moderates who believe in gun control plus the right to keep and bear arms save the day. So what he's saying is the only way the 2A will still exist is if it's watered down. If we start accepting infringements on the Second Amendment. But then does it really still exist? I guess to a degree, but Mad Dog says, fuck the bootlickers. Next Stockdale Gribble quote. That's a possibility, the Dale Gribble one, or the we used to shoot Nazis, one or the other. Yeah. Like I said, though, I think the Dale Gribble one would alienate some people. Of course, so would in this country we used to shoot Nazis. A lot of people nowadays like to pretend like, well, it's questionable whether the Nazis were totally bad or not. No, it's not questionable. If you're a Nazi, you got problems. Let's see here. Let's get over to the super chats over here. Let's see if there's anything coming in. What's today's date? Today's the 4th, right? All right, we got Ryan McFarland. Ryan, been seeing that name more and more lately. Do you think the Rohrball R9S is still worth the high price? If not, what would be an alternative? Did you do the silver bullet drawing? That's on the 5th. Thanks again for the knives. I guess he won some knives. I know he won at least one. The Rohrball R9S is still today worth every penny. Where are you going to find a gun that small in 9mm? I mean, that gun is small. Remington decided we're going to buy that design. We're going to make it ourselves, improve a little, and we're going to make a fortune. It's going to save us. And then they got it, and they said, okay, we're going to make some improvements to it, which they did. I will grant you, they made some improvements to it. The magazine release, etc. Some improvements. But then they said, but we are not going to make it 9mm because we don't know if we can do that. So even though Rohrball's doing it for years, we're going to make it 380 and then ruin the gun completely. So I think the R9S, which the S just means it has sights built onto the slide instead of just a bare slide, is worth every penny it ever was, because you can't get something else like it, really. And it's like a giant sea camp, kind of. Just like how the sea camps are still worth every penny, even though they're cheaper now than they used to be. Used to be the 380s were very expensive. Now the 380s are the same price as the regulars. So yeah, they're worth every penny, and they're probably worth more now because they're harder to get. So I would definitely say so. Sean Coleman says, for the P's and the V's, am I supposed to get Mickey Patch? Sean Coleman on Patriot. Well, if you're on Patreon, no, there's no Mickey Patch for Patreon. If you're on Patreon and you're a member of the Pet Defender tier, you should be getting this patch, and you should be sending me your info. I've sent messages to everyone in those tiers multiple times, and most people don't seem to want to answer me. They ignored me, like they don't want to act like they don't hear me. Yes, I heard you, bitch. I was pretending I didn't. Maybe that's from what's it called? What's the name? The Holy. Something. What's the name of that show? The Holy what's the Holy somethings? But yeah. All right, let's move on here. I got myself confused. Johnny Mandrick chimed in. Johnny Mandrick. And says, which is more evil, squirrels or chipmunks? Well, it depends. Overall, I think if you just took an average generic chipmunk and an average generic squirrel, the average generic squirrel would be more evil than the chipmunk. Neither of them are evil, though. Both of them are very just awesome little creatures that deserve to live and have a good life. Although chipmunks, I do believe, are about 40% more likely to get involved in supremacist movements and purity movements. So those chipmunks are evil. It's not as likely a squirrel gets involved in that. So overall, I think if you average everything out, you're going to have to give chipmunks the benefit of being more evil, simply because a small number of them, like I said, are Nazis. You can always tell which ones are Nazis. They have the armbands. So as long as they don't have the armband, they're good. Colin Hepburn chimed in and said, all double action, single action guns are gone. Oh, when did that happen? No, they're still here. I mean, maybe you mean on the market? Well, I don't like that. Let's read on. You have to pick a striker fired gun to carry. What will it be? Oof. I'd probably get me a Glock because I like Glocks, and I'd put one of them safeties on it. One of those striker blocks from Langdon Tactical. I'd get me one of them. I'd get me one of them Langdon Tactical Glocks. Either that or I'd find one that had manual safety. Some of them have manual safeties. Maybe I'd get a P320 with a manual safety. Although I think I'd rather have the Glock. I'm not a big fan of the P320s. I don't like striker fire guns, period, which you know is why you're asking this question. But I always say the P320 is a better gun than the Glock. If you want to have an operator gun, P320 is a better gun. However, I prefer the Glock if I was going to choose one. So it'd probably be a Glock with that Langdon Tactical safety on the back. Hell, if he'd send me a couple of them, I'd be able to maybe carry my Glock 20 sometime. I can't. I don't want to buy them. I'm cheap. He's probably got dozens of them just laying around. Langdon does. Ernst Langdon probably has dozens of them. I talked to his wife more via email than I have ever him, but he should send me a couple. I won't tell anybody that you did it. You won't have to worry about somebody thinking you like me or anything. I'll tell them. In fact, I'll say, I ordered these, I paid for it, and on it they wrote dick or suck it asshole or something. If you want me to, I'll make it look like you said something nasty to me. I got no problem with that if it gets me free stuff. But yeah, probably a Glock with one of the striker blocks from Langdon Tactical. I think that's a good choice. Other people may not agree, but I think that's a good choice. Stephen Shockley chimed in here and he said, the online community will assist in the downfall of the 2A because negative content towards the 2A is more profitable than positive content. That's one of my big worries. Like I said, I never thought I'd see the day where anti-gunners are using pro-gun YouTube channels videos to show that, oh, these guns are unsafe because they're not idiot-proof. Remember when they used to say the opposite? Like, Glocks don't need a manual safety. Well, you don't even need the dongle. Just keep your finger off the trigger. Yeah, remember when they used to say that until it became profitable to go the other way? Yeah, I never thought I'd live to see that, but I did. So I kind of agree with Stephen Shockley. Micah D chimed in and said, leave a super chat for Yankee. Did you? Oh, wait, I'm not supposed to read that part. Did you see where G&G did a video on a stats guy about the P320 saying they knew of the problem and tried to bury it out of court records? Knew before they got the military contracts? Bullshit. It's all bullshit speculation. You mean they knew that it's got a light trigger and that if you put it in a holster and actually depress the trigger somewhat, it's in a dangerous situation? Well, yeah, that's why the military wants the safety on it, because they know that. That's why the Glocks had to go to 12-pound triggers for the guns for the police departments, because that way it didn't go off when it bounced around in a bad holster. So it's just garbage. Why do you listen to anything that guy says? He doesn't know anything about guns or anything going on in the gun community. He doesn't understand anything. He's dumb as a rock. Jason Thompson, off Tater Hater, pays $2 tithe to Phil and said, "You need to step up your game, Yank. Stop being a crud. You need to be supporting Bubba. We need to make Bubba's big." No. I am never going to be a big supporter of authority, period. I've never understood that in the gun community, why they so much, we're here about freedom and we're going to rebel someday. But you know what? I'm going to get down here first and lick this cop's boots clean. Or I'm going to get down here first and lick this soldier's boots clean. Yeah, you're really walking the walk. That's why I tell you, there ain't going to be no revolution ever. Not on gun rights. The gun community will be the last people to revolt. Hell, the young people and the hippies will be the ones that get mad first. And like I said, all they'll do is figure out how to turn off your computers and your cable and make you swear allegiance to the new hippie government before you get your cable and your internet back. And the gun community do it in a minute. Phil and new gun tithe, see email, said Michael Rojana. All right, let me see the emails. I'm going to get over to the emails now because that was our last super chat. Oh, no, we got a couple more here before I get to the. I'm going to go ahead and do the emails and then I'll get to the super chats over here real quick. We'll definitely get to them. Let's see here because I want to remember to show his new. I guess he's saying he does get a patch, so I'll send that out. There's this. There's that. Today's live chat question. There we go. Okay, I think I got all of them. Okay, let's get to the emails. I'll go to the ones that have pictures first. The other two are just questions. I don't even really have to show those. Here's this one. This one is from Frank Rodriguez. Have you ever seen palm pistols like these? I just saw them in a movie. Protector palm pistol, 32 rimfire. Yes, I've seen palm pistols like that. I've seen them in like Captain Nemo typey movies, you know, stuff like that. I've always kind of wanted one, but find one cheap that's looks like it wouldn't blow up in your hand. So yeah, I've seen them. I think they're very cool. I would want one on one of the things that, you know, how it's kept in your sleeve and then it pops out and you just poof, bam. That's what I'd want, one of those. I'd want it on that little thing in your sleeve that you can just and pop it out and go. Let's go to the next email here. Winder. This is from Rojana. Rojana here says, new to shotguns, what shells do you stockpile? Buckshot, slug, or bird shot? I try to keep a mix of slug and buckshot, but I'm really sorely lacking in my amount of shotgun shells I have. I probably have maybe 100. That's probably all I have. What I want to do is get the materials to load shot shells and learn how to do it and have the process to load them, reload them, etc. at home. Because shot shells are the one thing I would like to reload. So I would like to get into that, but I have not. How many do you stockpile? Not a lot, like I said. And thanks, Mike Rojana. This is that Remington Marine, isn't it? Ain't that pretty? Ain't that look pretty? Everybody should have a shotgun. Everybody. You don't care if you live in a one-bedroom apartment in Manhattan, you should have a shotgun. Because if shit ever gets real bad, you'll be glad you have that shotgun. It may not be good for like home defense or apartment defense or anything like that, self-defense or concealed carry. But if things ever went to shit and you wanted to get out of the city or you needed to hunker down in the city, you'll be very glad. Why did my watch going crazy with things here? You'll be glad you had that shotgun. So everybody should have a shotgun. All right. Now the other ones are just questions. So let me get to those. MoG522 asks, what is your EDC knife? And did you start carrying pepper spray or are you still procrastinating? My EDC knife now is one of those little Kershaws, little Ken Onion design. I think they're called a Leak or something. My son got me one. That's what I'm carrying. One got me my flashlight. One got me my knife I carry. So that's what I'm carrying right now. No, I have not started carrying pepper spray. In fact, I procrastinated today. We were at Costco because we didn't go yesterday, and you're supposed to go once a week at our age. So we went down today, and they had a 2-pack of bear spray, and I went, ooh, $40, and didn't get it. But I need to get some. Also, MoG522 said, if your EDC gun has a manual safety on it, do you carry it with the safety on or the safety off? Well, really would depend on the gun. If it's a gun where you have to have the manual safety on to carry it in the position, in the condition it's supposed to be, like a 1911, you're supposed to carry it cocked and locked with safety on. Well, then, of course, I'm going to carry it with the safety on. If I'm carrying a CZ that I can carry the hammer down because it's double action, single action, so I don't really need to have it carried cocked and locked to be able to use it immediately. Well, then I keep the safety off, and it's even better, and it's good on that gun because the safety can't go on while the hammer's down. You have to cock it back before the safety will even engage. So it really depends on the gun. Then we got a nominal snowman. He wrote me I don't know, it looks like a letter here. It's got more than one paragraph. That's all I know. It says, starting a new job in a few weeks. First time being around a lot of people. The Trump cult is jarring, to say the least. I never worked in a place where the N-word is used casually on the clock. Gays, non-whites, non-Christians, etc. are routinely blamed for all issues in society. Yeah, even though it's rich white men that are in charge. Openly calling for executing people who didn't vote for Trump. Yeah, I've seen that too. I can't say it's most people that vote for Trump, but it's some. I can easily see the 2028 election or even midterms becoming violent. These people are nuts. All day they watch AI slap radicalization videos. Can't even discern the fact it is AI propaganda. Yeah, I know. There's so many bad AI videos online now. And you go look at the comments and it's sad. You're like, this is not real, right? Someone fucking made this up, probably in Russia, and you're falling for it. It's amazing but terrifying. I can see how the Holocaust was acceptable. Brainwashing useful idiots is comically easy. Yes, it is. That's why I said education is important, not just learning facts and figures, but learning how to think. And that's one of the reasons I have such a problem with things like the P320 thing. That's the perfect example of people not being able to think, just going with whatever they're told. And that way, when the person they always trusted to steer me right on the Second Amendment starts steering you wrong for money, you just go right along with it. You don't even think about it. That's why education is so important, and that's why they want to get rid of it. That's why the Democrats want to reduce education to just learning facts and figures and learning certain social cues and everything else. And the Republicans want to reduce it to be a good Christian and do as you're told. You'll be rewarded when you die. They want to be able to use taxpayer money on religious church schools. They don't want any critical thinking, period. The Democrats want to shame you if you don't accept everything as perfectly normal, and the Republicans just don't want you to have critical thinking at all. Where am I at here? That's it for those. Let me get over here to these questions over here. T-shirt, a Labubu holding a gun called Lapupu. What the fuck is a Labubu? I don't know what a Labubu is. That was Domino Snowman. Electric Game says Walther Q4 SF or CZ Shadow Carry. I know Surmzer versus Hammer, but big Walter fan. I think he meant Striker versus Hammer, not Surmzer. That's easy. I'm going to take the CZ Shadow Carry any day of the week. The Q4 steel frame. I have one of them. Can you see it? I have one right there. Wait, where is it? No, that ain't it. That's revolvers. Oh, I just got in front of it. I have one right there. That's a Q4 SF. It's heavy as fuck, and it's not as good a gun as the Shadow 2 when it comes to carry guns. So, Shadow 2, definitely the Shadow 2 carry gun. So there. Who's on? Someone ban Welper. He's a little out of control. We can't ban Welper. It's not allowed. You know how fast the ACLU would be down on us, or the Citizens with Disabilities League or whatever? They'd be on us like white on rice if we banned Welper. Pretty soon we'd be under court order. Not only would we be under court order to let him in, we'd have to make so many special accommodations like ramps, padded corners, and stuff like that, that we'd go out of business. So we just don't even want to risk it. Don't want to risk it. Next is Micah D here, who said, I'm third tier on both. Do I get the patches? Yes, you'll get the patch. Did I not put them in with your knife? Last time I sent out knives, I put patches in for people who got patches. Maybe I didn't send yours. Well, I'll make sure to send yours this time. And I also need to, I think I sent John Heasley's. Did I send both your patches to John Heasley? I think I did. Yeah, I think I sent them out separately, though. I didn't put them in a package for you. Where was I? I'm looking at the wrong thing here. I'm looking at the wrong list. I need to be over here. Make sure we're caught up on the supers. Last one was Mike Rogina. So we're caught up there. Let's get over here to the live chat while we still got time to get some stuff answered. Did you see Trigger Smart's video where they made a number of different manufacturers go off using the same technique as Wyoming Gun Project? Yes, that's why I said I never understood that whole thing. Well, I'm simulating the sear going bad. Well, the only way you could simulate the sear going bad is if you went in and broke off part of the sear or filed it away, because you can't simulate that by pulling the trigger. Like if you want to go in and I'm filing my sear down to where it barely makes connection now. So when I cock my gun, it's barely holding on, and then I'm shaking it or squeezing it or banging it. Well, then you could say, well, if your sear ever wears down to this point, you're in danger. And I'd be like, well, then I'll never file my sear down, and I should be all right. But pushing the trigger back to a certain point, when people started doing that and thinking it meant something, that's when I was like, well, yeah, there's no hope for some people. In fact, some people in my video today, they came on and be like, oh, this doesn't show nothing, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, my video's been live for 4 minutes and it's 14 minutes long, and you're already commenting on what it shows and what it doesn't. There's no way you watched it, thought about it or anything. You just automatically jumped to an ad hominem attack or bullshit that doesn't, has no basis. It's just so obvious what you're doing. Because you can't think for yourself. And I challenge something one of the people you trust said, that you can't handle it. Not knowing that the people you trust don't know shit about guns. These people that go to Guns and Gadgets and stuff for gun info, he don't know shit about guns. Or Hickok, he don't know shit about how guns work. He obviously doesn't even know how to fire a double action revolver. But, when I showed everybody that here's exactly what he's doing, here's how you recreate it every time. So either he doesn't know how to shoot a revolver, or he's doing a favor for Bud's gun shop and trying to make the new ones look bad. And people are like, well, would Bud's gun shop want to make the new ones look bad? Well, the owner is heavily invested in the Colt market, the secondary market, and that goes under when the new guns are good and sell. But yes, I try to make point to people. Like I said, every time someone would say something in the SIG videos, I'm like, you can do the same thing with the Glock. No, you can't. No, you can't. I'm like, the same point you're making right now could be used in a case against a Glock. You could say the same thing. Oh, if you manipulate the sear, it actually disables the safety and blah, 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 and it'll go off. It can. And the only difference is the trigger dongle, and the trigger dongle can be made to fail. Trigger dongle can even stick. Or they could just show the trigger dongle takes 0.01 pounds of pressure. So that being safe is ridiculous to even think that'll make a difference if something gets in the trigger guard. So the gun is technically just as unsafe. They're making those arguments for the anti-gunners. Where was I? Did I answer all the questions over here already? Oh, no, I think it jumped on me. Hold on. I don't know. The Righteous Gemstones. That's what it's called. The Righteous Gemstones. Holy typo. I know it's striker versus hammer. I occasionally get the gout and hobble around. My question is, should I get a sword cane? Well, yes, everybody should get a sword cane. That's a silly question. Did you hear about the zoo in Denmark wanting people to give them unwanted pets and horses so that they can feed them to the predators in the zoo? People are assholes. How about we just feed unneeded people to the predators in the zoo? There's got to be a lot of shit people in Denmark. Feed them to them. Anybody that's found to be, hasn't paid his child support in a year, feed him to the predators. Or they got convicted of molesting a child, feed him to the predators. Who will be selling the new patches again? Well, it's Al and Anchor, and I'll let y'all know once they get them up. Because I don't think they're on their sites yet. Al and Anchor.com. I just sent them the names the other day. Let's see. Oh no, they got new patches. They got them up. Yeah. Well, here, I'll send the link to people. I don't know if this is for the whole collection or no, it says that you get to choose which one you want. All right, here's a link that people can actually go over and buy the patches. Apparently they are up over there. If you want to go over there and look, there's a link I just put in right there. So go check them out. They're almost $14 a patch, but they're nice. I like them. They look good. There's a little error here and there, but nothing that bothers me, and I'll fix it later. But right now, there's only 20 something of each one of them. So maybe I'll better mention that tomorrow. Well, I told y'all first, so if anybody here wants them, they can go get them first. Let's see here. Where am I at? What was I just doing? I was answering questions, wasn't I? I've lost my place. What is your favorite Marvel superhero? My favorite Marvel superhero? Ooh, that's a tough one. Yeah, it's really difficult for me to name my favorite superheroes. My favorite character, well, I'm going to say Silver Surfer. Let's just say Silver Surfer. I guess you consider him a hero. I like him. I also like Nova. I like Rocket Raccoon. I like a lot of them. So it's hard for me to say a favorite. Because most of my favorites don't tend to be superheroes. I am still educating keyboard warriors who keep saying that they're going to carry in place booze are served. Follow the beat down in Cincinnati. I warn them to not do that. Is it illegal there? Yeah, don't go to bars with guns if it's illegal. You never know what's going to happen in a bar. You don't want to be involved in that and then get caught carrying illegally in one. Someone starts shit with you. Because I listen to everything and make my opinions. In Salem, Indiana, during a home invasion, a woman shot a perpetrator who held a gun to her husband's head. Well, good. I remember when people said the Glock was unsafe because you had to pull the trigger to take it down. Yeah, I mentioned that in my video today. I showed two things in my video today. I was like, remember when people said Glocks were totally unsafe because you had to pull the trigger to take it down? Well, it's not unsafe if you make sure it's not loaded. Same thing with the SIG. If you make sure you're not pulling the trigger, it's not unsafe. So yeah, it's just garbage. I mentioned that, and I showed them the whole thing with the aftermarket trigger. If I activate the sear activate the trigger in the frame of the one that has the aftermarket trigger in it, if I put my finger on the bottom of the trigger guard and just roll it over enough to disengage the dingus, it goes pop and it pulls the trigger. I'm like, isn't that scary if you take it out of context to try to represent it as something it's not? Because that's what people are doing. Where was I at? Why did your background now turn blue? Makes it all look fake. Turn the damn lights on. Lights are on, but I'm wearing a yellow shirt. Because I'm wearing a yellow shirt, my webcam makes the background look blue. It's trying to filter out some of the yellow. So it's shifting blue. If I cover my shirt up and like if I go down here, it'll change. See how it's slowly going back to gray. But if I stand up, back to blue. Did you hear about the woman who was removed from a flight for wearing an End Veteran Suicide t-shirt? Her shirt made a male flight attendant uncomfortable. How would that make someone uncomfortable? End Veteran Suicide. Unless, of course, her idea of end veteran suicide is we should just murder all the veterans. And then none of them commit suicide. If that was her position, well, then yeah, I understand why that makes someone uncomfortable. The hippies I knew had guns, but that may be a southern redneck hippie, which sounds like a contradiction, but is definitely a thing. It can be a thing. Most of the hippies I knew when I was younger didn't have, well, they'd have like a gun in their house or something, like a shotgun or something, but no one carried guns back then. People didn't just carry them around. Some people would have them in their trucks, like a hunting rifle, but nobody carried a pistol on them. Oklahoma is requiring an America First test for teachers seeking employment there. I don't think that many teachers from California want to live in Oklahoma anyway. Most teachers don't want to live in Oklahoma. And because of that, they'll end up with subpar teachers who just teach whatever bullshit they're told to teach. They won't have any integrity whatsoever or be any good at it. And they'll put out a bunch of drones. That's what Oklahoma wants, a bunch of drones coming out of their school. Shot shells are easy to reload, but the load data is very specific to components. The specific powder with the specific wad with this load. Well, I'll get the stuff that I need. I'm not going to be mix matching stuff. I ain't stupid. I didn't realize that so many truckers still use the N-word. What decade do they think they're living in? Oh, you'd be surprised where the N-word is still used a lot. Right now, today, there's gun shops in this town where the N-word is still used by some of the customers. And even the customers, even the people who work in like good gun shops like Sporting Systems, they'll tell you how often they run into that. The racism and the hate and stuff. They don't like the MAGA people coming in there and doing stuff like that any more than they like some lefty coming in there and talking about how guns are evil. They want everybody to get along while they're in their store. There's a video of some mynah birds in Thailand that saw people feed an injured bird, so these birds pretend they were injured to get food from the people nearby. Yeah, that's not an uncommon thing, actually. Labubu is a little doll with a hoodie, snow outfit on, kind of like a Cupid doll thing. I've never heard of a Labubu. That must be something you weird people know about. I don't know about no Labubus. Didn't get a patch with the verdict. Did you mail the FinB? I haven't mailed the FinB yet. It's sitting in there. I doubt it'll be in that either. I'll have to mail it separate. Unless I open the package and re-put another package in it, which I could do, I guess. One guy showed police 320 that had bent, kinked sear spring. So who was screwing with it? And plus, a bent, kinked sear spring probably not going to cause a malfunction. I don't know how they would say it's going to cause a malfunction. Because it's not likely. As long as it's still in its little hole it goes in and it's still on its little prong it goes in, it's probably not going to cause any problem just because there's a little kink in it. I mean, if you see that in your gun, take it out and replace it. But I doubt it would make a gun go off. Who is more evil, the gummy bears or the M&Ms? I don't know if I've ever seen any gummy bears. I mean, the Care Bears maybe. And the Care Bears are just drug addicts. I don't know if the M&Ms are racist. I hear that the green one's pretty racist, but other than that, I don't know. Don't know much about the gummy bears. I used to eat a lot of gummy bears, but I don't know much about them. Ever eat at the Raising Cane's in Vancouver? I've heard of that, but I don't think I've ever eaten there. Hold on, let me look and see. Let me remind myself what it is. Raising Cane's, Vancouver. I've heard the name. No, I never have. I've seen it. Where's it at? I want to say there's one near where my son's works or something. Where is this here? It's on Mill Plain. Oh, that's where it is. I drive past it when we're going to the Dairy Queen. It's right down the road from the Dairy Queen. Yeah, but I've never stopped there and eaten. There's where one of them is, at least. Or I think there are more than one, but I don't know. Let me. Oh shit! It signed me out. Hold on. Give me a second here. We're almost done anyway. We're over time. Yeah, but you don't want the predator's carnivore to get a taste for human flesh. Why not? They can cause severe problems with the zoo caretakers. I don't care. They'll learn which ones they can eat, which ones they can't. The ones that have been stripped naked and rubbed down with honey and other seasonings, they'll know they can eat those ones. The ones wearing clothes, they'll know we don't eat those ones. They'll learn. They're not stupid. Did you mail my card knife with other knife I won? No, it's going in another package. It's going on in just an envelope. Did I send you both patches? Do I still owe you a patch? Some drunk customer walked into my place of business talking trash about Venezuelans. I told him I would not be held responsible if a Venezuelan attacked him. Yeah, I didn't tolerate any kind of racist or garbage, homophobic or anything in my bar. I would throw you out in a minute. And they'd be like, "Oh, I never come back here again." I'm like, "You damn right you're not. You were sober when you were saying this stuff, so you're not welcome. If you've been drunk when you were saying it, I might give you some leeway, but you're stone sober and you're a fucking asshole. So you definitely ain't never coming back." In 50 years, will guns be irrelevant and outdated as defense from the government? Drones and robot dogs will tase you into submission. Well, no, you can still just shoot a robot dog and shoot down a drone. Raising Cane's is delicious fried chicken. I've never been there. Grumpy Bear should be allowed to be part of the Care Bear stare. His gloomies should not be allowed to be part of the Care Bear stare. His gloomies could cause a person to end their own life. I don't think it works that way. I don't think he's not Suicide Bear. I don't think. Are there drawings this evening? Yes, there will be. We didn't get any new patrons, but we'll draw a patron that joined already, but is still or up their patronage during this. We'll draw that. Let me put it down over here. I don't think I've been keeping track of the winners very well. Someone's going to have to remind me. What's today? The 4th of August, 25. And we'll do the tough. And we'll do a question mark for whatever someone chooses when they're. All right, let's do Patreon, because I already got that list made from yesterday. So, and the winner from Patreon of people who have joined since the beginning of the giveaway or up their membership since the beginning of the giveaway is number 8. Didn't we do an 8 yesterday? Maybe. And today that winner is Kyle JT. Kyle JT. That's weird. It would usually be JT. Maybe they wrote the name backwards. Oh, why am I writing it down by hand? Put it on the fucking list. Kyle Well, that's Kylie. Kylie JT. It might actually be a female. Or maybe that's her last name, Kylie. I don't know. And then let's do the one for the tough. For the tough. And I might have a question over here I haven't answered yet either. Yeah, we got a couple questions I need to answer over here came in. Christian Carlson said, I want the 38 Super Commander from Colt, but I could also get the Desperado from Tit Sauce. But I don't want another Turkish gun. The C100 is actually kind of nice. Why are guns so dang expensive? They're just pricey. Why are cars so expensive? Why are eggs so expensive? Why is milk so expensive? Why is steak so expensive? I bought chicken breasts today for $2.99 a pound, and I was almost giggly about it because I got it for $2.99 a pound. That's pretty bad when you're that happy about getting something cheap. I would definitely get the Commander rather than the tit sauce. I haven't had good luck with the tit sauces. Casey Seawright paid his $2 tithe to Phil. He's lucky I got over here and got it so that he doesn't get Lyme disease. I just heard about the problem with the P320. Cops are giving themselves Glock leg with a SIG. That is no sense. Yeah, it's just the same thing as Glock leg. Same things. It's not even happening as often, apparently, as the Glock thing did, but still, people are going to make a big deal out of it because they're retarded. They don't know what's good for them. I had forgotten to tell you, Izzo was once a bartender before he became a cop, and since you once owned a bar, he'd be a great guest for your show. Well, I don't know if that means that. I mean, he's welcome on anytime he wants to come on. I would fine with having him on. You know that, but I don't know if that has anything to do with it. Bartenders are a very diverse group of people. In your video today, you said that Kydex holsters put pressure on the trigger. None of my holsters, leather Kydex or hybrid, touch the trigger in any of the pistols. I bet you'd be surprised at how many Kydex holsters touch the triggers. Here, in fact, let me grab one I took apart for you. Here's one that's taken apart. And when they make them to where they go back to the full back of the... Look at that. Can you all see right there? What do you see in that indent right here? Look, there's the side of the trigger. And I can find that on about 3/4 of the Kydex holsters I own. Now, generally, that ain't going to make no difference because they don't go off with 1 millimeter of movement or 2 millimeters of movement. And they're usually fit specifically to that gun to where it won't bounce up and down. But if the holster ever comes loose, like the screws start to come out, and it flexes a little bit or opens up a little bit, well, then it can move too far and set the gun off. If a trigger is something that moves very easily and that holster doesn't hold it tight enough that it can't move up and down just a little bit from when it bounces, it can set the trigger off. So Kydex holsters can be very dangerous. One of the reasons I don't like them. All right, that looks like that's it for today. We've done all the drawings. Did I answer all the questions? Was that John Baloney Jr. one I was just talking to? Yeah, that was just John Baloney Jr. Are people using junk holsters? Well, yeah, a lot of people use junk holsters. That's for sure. A lot of people make their own. But as I was saying, thanks everyone for coming. I appreciate it. Did we get another question over here real quick before I have to go? Hold on. Yes, we got Jake, we got two. Steven Shockley asking, what's your opinion of Canik? They make fine guns. I don't want to buy anything Turkish, but the guns themselves are fine. Nice little Walther clones. Jacoby Neath also said, what do you think of the reduced recoil spring from Galloway Precision for the Bodyguard 2.0? Phil. I don't think Phil wants you filling him at all. And I don't think you're flattering yourself to think you could because he's huge. But I don't know. I don't know anything about the Bodyguard. I don't own one, never owned one. So don't know much about them. Don't know anything about that product. I'd have to experience it first. But as I was saying, thanks everybody for coming. I appreciate it. I'll see you all again tomorrow. Until then, remember, always carry. And if you want a knife, send me an email saying knife winner. And then in the body of it, if you won for Patreon, tell me what knife you want. If you won for tonight, tell me if you've already won a tougher. Oh, did I draw anybody? I don't think I did the drawing for the tough, did I? I got distracted. Let me do the drawing for the tough real quick. And let's do that one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. All right, let's, we got 22. Let's go generate a random number. Hold on, let me get my number up over here. Where's my list? No, I had it. Right there it is. All right. All right, let me look at this one again. What did I say? 22. All right, let me generate a number. Between 1 and 22. Okay, now I got to count down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. And the winner is Stephen Shockley. Stephen Shockley. I don't recognize that name. Well, yes, I do. I just read it over here. I guess they did a super chat over here too. I must not have paid much attention to their name when I read it earlier. What did they say? Oh, they're the ones that talked about how the 2A community will assist in the downfall of the 2A. All right. Okay. All right. That's the winner for tonight. So send me an email if you want a knife to shootingleftcenter@gmail.com. In the subject line, put knife winner. If you won the nightly drawing, you just got to give me your name and address and let me know if you've won one before. Because if you've won the tough, you'll get the holdout. If you won for Patreon, let me know which knife you want from the list. Go look at the updated picture. There's a couple of knives that have been taken off. So go on over there and look. With that being said, thanks everybody for coming. I appreciate it. I will see y'all again tomorrow. Until then, remember, always carry and stay safe. Till I'll see you again. Hey everybody, Yankee here. I just want to remind everyone that this channel is 100% viewer funded. We don't take kickbacks. We don't do discount codes. We don't take money from advertisers. And we definitely don't take money from big gun groups that want to tell us how to feel about things. So if you want to be part of the good things we do on this channel, please go over to tympistolproject.com, my website. There's a link in the upper corner, and either buy some custom merchandise or sign up for Subscribestar or Patreon. You can even get some pretty cool patches over there. So please go over if you can and help support the channel.